I blacked out at a party years ago and ended up pregnant. I recently found out who my daughter's father is and now it's threatening my relationship. I've known my husband since I was 8 when he moved in across the street. He was like an older brother to my twin brother and me because we had no other siblings. My dad was gone a lot because he was a lineman. The only person I really had was my mom. I was kinda rebellious as a teen, and I'd sneak out all the time. At the time, I had never had a boyfriend because everybody was afraid of my brother. When I was 15, I snuck out and went to a party. I don't remember what happened that night, but I woke up in the backseat of my car covered in a blanket and my jacket over my head. I was hurting and confused, but I continued with life regularly. A few months after, I went to the school nurse because I wasn't feeling well, and she gave me a pregnancy test. I told her it was impossible because I didn't even have a boyfriend. The test was positive, and I cried because I didn't remember ever doing anything like that. They called my mom, and the nurse told me to tell my mom because she felt like she shouldn't be the one to tell her. I told my mom I was pregnant but I've never done anything to have a baby. My mom took me to a doctor, and they told her I was too far along to abort. They told me how far I was along, and I told my mom about how I woke up in the backseat of my car that day. I had my daughter a few months later, and she looked exactly like me. She had my greenish blue-eye color, my blonde curly hair, and she even had my full lips. My now husband started to come over more after my daughter was born. He was so good with her I started to see him as more than a friend. He bought her clothes, shoes, and toys, and he made sure she had everything she needed even though he was a college student. When my daughter was around 3, we started to date. We dated for like 6 months before he asked me to marry him at his graduation party. We got married 4 months after that, and I got pregnant with our first son soon after. Everything was so perfect, but as my daughter grew, I noticed how much she started looking more like my husband. He always said she's his daughter,